Hi, this is David, and this is a short video to show you how to register for a webinar with Dr. Leggett. I'm going to show you how to do it and what you can expect to see during the process. Whenever we set up a webinar in the webinar system, which happens to be called GoToWebinar, we set up the time and the date that the webinar will occur, and then you will receive an email notice telling you that you need to register for the webinar. For each and every webinar, you will have to open the email and register for that webinar. So as you can see on this screen here, there is an email. This is email account that I use just for demonstration purposes. You can see there is an email in here. It says it's from Dr. Karen Leggett, and the subject is test webinar registration. I just made that up. So I'm going to click on that email and open it up, and this is what it will look like. You'll see the banner for Dr. Karen Leggett, and it says here is the registration information for tonight's webinar. It may say tonight's webinar, or tomorrow's webinar, or whenever it's scheduled. And it'll probably have the title here, which in this case is Test Webinar for Demonstration. And then there'll be a date and the time, which in this example doesn't mean anything. And then it'll say register now, click the link below to register. This is the link right here. It will look like this. It'll be a long link with a lot of numbers at the end. You'll need to click on that in order to register for the webinar. And again, you have to do this for each webinar. Each one has a very specific code. So for each webinar, you'll get an email like this telling you when it's going to be, and you have to click on the link in order to register. So I'll do that right now. I'll click on the link, and it will open up this page that again has Dr. Leggett's banner at the top, and it has the name of the webinar, which is Test Webinar for Demonstration Only. And it will say again the date and the time. It says here July 2nd, 1 a.m. Again, these are just examples, so they don't mean anything, but when you get one, it'll be the actual date and time of the webinar. And if you're in a different time zone, you can click where it says show in my time zone if you want to do it that way. And then you'll need to fill out these three fields. You need to fill out your first name, last name, and then the email address where you want to get notification. This is just a dummy email address that I use for demonstration purposes. And then when you fill out those three fields, you're just going to click register. It will bring up a screen that says you're now registered. And from here you can close this screen, because when you go back to your email, if you go back to your inbox, you'll see there's another email that's already there. That is the confirmation email, and that's the one that you're going to use when you want to attend the webinar. So if I click this email and open it up, it has all the information in there that I need, and it tells me how to join the webinar, and it'll give the date and the time. Again, this is just an example. And then right here under number 1, it says click the link to join the webinar at a specific time and date. There's the link. When you want to attend the webinar, this is what you click. You open the confirmation email, then you click this link right here to take you to the webinar. Okay, so I'm going to momentarily close this email. Here's the inbox again for this dummy email address that I'm using just for demonstration purposes. And you'll see that there is another new email in the inbox, and it is sent 1 hour in advance of the start time for the webinar. So when you want to attend the webinar, you can open this email, or you can open the one that says confirmation. They both have the same information in them. It's just that this one, the second one, is sent an hour ahead of time to remind you when the webinar is going to start. So we'll open that one, and there's the very same link that says click the link to join the webinar at the specific time and date next to number 1. So we're going to do that. We're going to, let's assume it's about 10 minutes before the start time of the webinar. We're going to go ahead and join the webinar. So I'm going to click that link. Now, if this is the first time that you have attended a webinar at GoToWebinar, it's going to have to download a little bit of software into your computer, which is what you see right now. It says connecting to GoToWebinar, and it's installing the GoToWebinar software on your computer, and that's what's necessary in order to attend the webinar. After you do that the first time, it won't have to be done again for subsequent webinars. It's only for the first one that you attend. Now it's connecting to the webinar site, and you'll see in the middle of the screen, the box here says, how would you like to listen? And you have a choice. You can listen by computer audio, which means you can listen through the speaker on your laptop, or you can plug in a headset into your laptop and listen to the audio that way. If you're going to participate in some manner, it's best to have, which is possible in some webinars, for question and answers, you might want to have a headset plugged in that's got a speaker and a microphone, or you can just use the speaker and the built-in microphone that's on your computer. If you can't do that for some reason, you can always click here where it says phone call, and it will give you information about what number to call in, and you can attend, and that way you can listen and talk over the telephone while watching the webinar on your computer. But for most people, you're just going to click computer audio, so I'm going to do that. It allows you to test your sound if you want. I'm not going to do it right now. So I'm going to click OK. Now you'll see over here this window. If you log in to attend before...
Welcome to the webinar. Please stand by. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
That's the message that you'll get from GoToWebinar that says, please stay on the line. Now, when we get closer to the start time of the webinar, instead of seeing this welcome screen that's on the screen right now, you will see the first slide of the webinar. And this is for demonstration purposes only. So that's the first slide of the webinar on this demonstration test webinar. Now, if you look all the way over here on the far right top corner of your screen, you'll see these little buttons over here that are parked way over here on the side.
Shortly. Please remain on the line.
What you want to do is you want to open up, this is the control panel, but you can't see the whole control panel, but you can see this little arrow. Just click that little arrow that's pointing to the left, and it opens up the control panel, and there it is. That tells you that you're connected. It tells you that your voice is muted, meaning nobody can hear anything you're saying. And once the webinar starts, there'll be some other controls, like, for instance, you can see where I'm pointing here at this hand. You can raise your hand if you want to ask a question at the appropriate time during the webinar. Dr. Leggett will ask people.
The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
Dr. Leggett will ask people if they have any questions and ask you to raise your hand. Well, that's how you do it right here. You click this little hand, and that will raise your hand for the host of the webinar, is Dr. Leggett. This box here where it says questions is where you can type a question into the box. I just typed the word question, and you click send. And that is displayed in front of Dr. Leggett on her control panel. What's interesting about this control panel is you'll see this arrow blinking up there. that means it's about to make the control panel disappear again. If you wait long enough, there it goes. The reason they do that is so it's not overlapping the screen in case there's something important on the screen. Now, anytime you want to get the control panel back,
the webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line.
Just click the little arrow again, and it brings back the control panel. If you want to make it go away yourself, you can click the arrow, and it hides the control panel. Click it again, it comes back. Okay, so at this point you're good to go. You're completely connected and you're logged into the webinar. And remember that anytime you're looking for the control panel, you got to go up here to this little arrow that I'm pointing at with the mouse. Click that button, it'll bring up the control panel. And remember, it will, after a few seconds, it goes away by itself so it doesn't interfere with what you're looking at. If you are going to attend the webinar by phone, you can do that. We do recommend using a laptop whenever possible because the larger screen will make it easier for you to see all the information on the slideshows that accompany that are in the webinar. But you can do it on a phone too, and if you do, here's what the screens will look like. First of all, when you open the email, it will look exactly the same on the phone as it does on your computer, where you click the Register Now link, just as we did on the laptop, and that would bring you to this very same page that says Test Webinar for Demonstration Only, where you enter your name, first name, last name, and your email address, and then you click on Register, just like you did on the laptop, and then you'll get the same message from GoToWebinar that says you're registered. Then when you open the confirmation email, it will look very much the same as it does on the laptop. And there again, it has the link in there that you need to actually attend the webinar, where it says number 1, click the link to join the webinar at a specific time and date. That's the link that you click in order to join the webinar, which you'll want to do 5 or 10 minutes before the scheduled start time. When you tap on the link in the email that when you want to attend the webinar, the first screen you'll see will be this one. And it's going to say go to webinar, and it's going to ask you to download the app or tap to join the session. Where I recommend downloading the app. It only takes a minute or two, and you only have to do it once. Once it's installed in your phone, you won't have to do it again. And if you tap on download the app, of course, it takes you to the store where the app is, where it's called GoToWebinar. You tap on install. It will install itself, and eventually it will bring you to this screen after it installs itself, asking you to put in the webinar ID and tap join. Well, we don't have to do that. All you have to do is go back to the email, because the link to join is in the email. Now that you have the app installed on your phone, just go back to the email that should still be open, tap that link again, and this time it will automatically log you in, and then you'll see this screen. It says GoToWebinar would like to access the microphone, which enables you to talk should the situation come up. So you just tap OK, and you are then fully connected on your smartphone. Okay, at this point you should be completely connected and everything should be working right. Allow me to say this though, whether you're connecting by computer or smartphone, if during the process something looks like it's not working right, or you see something you don't recognize, when in doubt, just close everything that's open go back to your confirmation email or the 1 hour notice email. They both have the link in it. Open either one of those emails, click the link and start the process over, and it should work fine. If there's any questions, if there's something that you can't figure out, feel free to send an email to webmaster@drkarenleggett.com. Thank you for listening.